Chapter 7, Eri Again. Yosho completed his public duties on Jurai for 6 months and returned to the Galaxy Academy. Welcome home, Yosho-kun. Just like a year ago, Eri Magma was waving in the lobby of the deserted spaceport lobby. Yosho, seeing her unchanged, remembered when he first arrived at the academy. They exchanged greetings. It's been a while, Eridano. I'm glad to see you're looking well. He respectfully bowed, but when he raised his head, Eri stared at him sullenly. What's the matter? Without a word, Eri bonked him on the head. Ow! Why would you hit me? No reason. How is Funaho-chan? Ignoring his stunned reaction, Eri walked onto his ship. Her straightforward way of directing her inner anger at others was unchanged. Oh, brother. Only after Eridano hits me does it truly feel like I've returned to the Galaxy Academy. Yosho smiled wryly and followed Eri as she stormed off. As soon as she stepped onto the bridge, Eri let out a shriek of delight and a shiver of joy. A mass of Funaho puppies stormed towards her. Funaho-chan, how are you? She leapt into the wave of puppies, expressing her joy with her whole body. After a while, her face emerged from the puppies. Oh, you have a lot of paperwork. You should go get that done. And Eridano, he was about to ask what she was going to do but stopped. It seemed obvious. Then I'll get going. Funaho, take care of Eridano. See you later. The sight of Eri and several hundred puppies all staring at him was quite a spectacle. After Yosho left the bridge, Eri sighed, looking at the puppies. Funaho, your friend has come back, reverting to the same face he had when we first met, she mumbled sadly. She had been in the same boat. Bearing the heavy responsibility of being the eldest daughter of Gara Magma, the leader of the head temple of Erine, she couldn't laugh wholeheartedly back then. She feared and felt contempt for the people of other sections. Her heart shackled, she had lost freedom of thought and vision, and it was the academy that smashed that cage. Eri wanted to show Yosho, who was very much like she was when she first arrived here, what it was like to laugh wholeheartedly. But even with the passage of several years, she could not achieve this. She would loosen up his heart by knocking sense into him, but just as he started to smile candidly, he would go back home for 6 months. And life on Jurai, through those 6 months, took his smile away from him. Every time she saw him repeat this process, Eri experienced joy and then dejection. Eventually, she grew to feel strongly that Yosho should not go back to Jurai. A month had passed after he left for Jurai yet again when Eri received a transmission. She opened her eyes wide upon learning the location of its origin. It was from Irai, her home. She quickly changed out of the Jurian raw silk clothes she had bought from Yosho and stood in front of the display. The display showed a person seated on a gilded, ornate vermilion chair, wearing Irai holy robes, smiling feebly. I'm glad you look well, Father. The transmission was from her father, Gara. She saw his weak smile and winced, fearing that he had lost weight again. She quickly realized that he was at the council chambers and straightened up again. How are you, Father? I'd like to say so. Please take care of yourself. Eri, I'm sorry. Gara mumbled feebly and averted his eyes. The jig was up, she thought. Her actions that defied doctrine were a problem at the Irai Council. If her father had not protected her, acceding to her wishes to stay at the academy, she would have been sent home a long time ago. But pressured by the council, he could no longer protect her. She quietly bowed her head, sensing his kindness. It's all right, Father. I'm grateful that you forgave my behavior for so long. That's quite commendable of you, Eri Magma. The screen switched to show Gorba, the deputy and leader of the largest faction, and the top-ranked member of the council by a significant margin. In the council's name, I order Eri Magma's return. In 2 months. 2 months. But I'll receive my diploma in 6 months, Eri appealed to the monitor in protest. Yosho would return to the Galaxy Academy in 5 months. She hoped that she would at least be able to say a proper goodbye. Please, at least that. Humph. We've all had enough of your self-indulgence. Your conduct where you have forgotten your position as daughter of the Irai leader cannot be forgiven, no matter your bloodline. Isn't that right, Gera Magmadano? Gorba scowled at Gera as if he were glaring at a defeated party. Gera's head hung low. Gera looked away but saw his daughter's pleading face and mumbled, "Eri, your mother was your age when she came to marry me." His words indicated that there was an offer of an arranged marriage. She had suspected the moment Gorba gave the order for her to return. But more than surprise, it hurt Eri more to look at her father's lamenting face. Who is the intended? That will remain secret until the marriage. But it is undoubtedly a good arrangement. You'll like him, Eridano. I guarantee it. In a complete reversal from before, Gorba was in good spirits. I understand. They exchanged a few words, and with a smile, she cut off the transmission. She stood there for a while. Someone in Eri's position did not have the freedom of marriage. As long as she could not abandon Irai and her father, she had no choice but to accept her return and the marriage. Now that she had resigned herself to everything, her only regret was Yosho, whom she cared about like a real brother. Just as she had felt freedom at the academy, she wanted to give him the same chances to be a child that she could have here. But his return to Jurai every 6 months took even that away. If only he could stay here until graduation. Her wish would not be realized. Yosho's guardian was the Emperor of Jurai. No matter what she tried, she would not even be able to talk to him, let alone see him. In those days of agony, there was some good news. The news that Kamiki Seto Jurai, renowned throughout the entire galaxy, let alone Jurai, was coming to visit the Galaxy Academy. I've heard from Yosho-kun that not even the Emperor of Jurai was a match for Seto-sama. Maybe? Eri immediately volunteered to be Seto's guide, but current diplomatic relations between Irai and Jurai were not great, and she did not get permission no matter how many times she inquired. Unlike Yosho, who came to the academy as a student, Seto was visiting as a member of the imperial family of Jurai. The Galaxy Academy would obviously not allow it. That did not mean Eri was going to give up. Even if the connecting threads were short and thin, she would not give up while there was still hope. A little leak could sink a great ship. She was following what she had been taught at the academy. It meant she was going after Kanemitsu. Yoo-hoo! He turned heel at the genial greeting and promptly tried to get away, but Eri seized him by his neck. Hey, why are you running away? Because I know what you're going to say. Then do it. Knock it off. How many times do I have to tell you, you can't see Seto-sama? It doesn't matter because I won't listen. I'm just a warrior, on the lowest rung. But you're going to be our guide, aren't you? Eri was not going to back down. Seto-sama isn't my friend. I'm not in a position to say anything personal. Asking your dad would probably work better than asking me. Don't be unreasonable. You're unreasonable. This dispute, unable to reach a consensus, always came to an end with Kanemitsu making an escape. A few days later, Eri was sprawled in bed in her room, dejected, staring at a TV special of Seto's welcoming reception. She'd used every contact she could think of but hadn't been granted an audience with Seto. However, when Seto's schedule was displayed on screen, she noticed a possibility and leapt out of bed. Right here. I could see her. Eri was confident, watching Seto quietly smiling on screen. Among the imperial family of Jurai, the biggest territory in the universe, Seto was the top in ability and popularity. Her visit was more elaborate than expected, and accordingly, security was on high alert. Since it was known that Eri had been scheming to meet with Seto, surveillance was harsh. Eri could not even see Seto from afar, let alone get close to her. The facilities for the philosophy department, including the Washu Memorial Hall, were the only possibilities where she could run into Seto. Eri was friends with the old philosopher working there and had a pass to the private passageways. It was easy for her to sneak in, evading the monitors keeping an eye out for her. She decided to try when Seto finished touring the gallery and the reporters and spokespeople had left. It would be a grave understatement to call it a mere international incident if Eri was shown meeting Sito on live broadcast. Sito was supposed to meet privately with the philosophers after the tour. She should have only a few guards. At a corner of the building, Eri changed into the raw silk outfit given to her by Yosho on her birthday, which could be used as formal dress in the imperial family, and headed towards the passage she expected Sito to take. As expected, the bodyguards on duty only stared dumbfounded at Eri wearing Jurai imperial clothes. Eri was the daughter of a state leader, after all. The only one who seemed amused by the situation was the old philosopher standing next to Sito. Eri walked up to Sito and kneeled down. "Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Eri Magma. I served as guide for Masaki Yosho Jurai-sama. I understand I risk seeming rude in confronting you like this, but I wish to speak with you." Her words trailed off. When she raised her face and looked at Sito's eyes, the tremendous pressure from them paralyzed her. Without altering her gentle expression, Sito gracefully knelt in the same way. It was Eri's choice to kneel, but Sito determined that it would be bad optics for her to talk while looking down upon her. "Eri Dano, it's extremely unfortunate that your country and Jurai are currently in a difficult situation. It would not be prudent for the daughter of the Irai head of state to speak with me in public like this. All of us on Jurai are deeply grateful for what you have done for Yosho Dano. I sincerely hope that diplomatic relations will improve and we will be able to meet in an official function. Excuse me." With these brief words, she stood up and looked at the philosopher. This way. As if nothing had happened, the old philosopher led Sito to a back room, and the dumbfounded guards also ignored Eri and followed them. Tears flowing down cheeks flushed with embarrassment and mortification, Eri was racked with sobs. More than being shown the difference in their stature, her heart was full of the feeling that she would never be able to see Yosho again. Eri fled the building. "That was the demon princess of Jurai that I've heard so much about," the old philosopher said theatrically as soon as they entered the room. "You're being rather suggestive. Is she one of your favorites?" Haha. Galaxy Academy students these days aren't as interesting. Few of them would dare pull off a stunt like that. It's unfortunate she lost. Well, she's a bit wet behind the ears to be fighting over a man with you, or, shall I say, inexperienced. Heh. Ha 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 ha. Sito had desperately been trying to suppress laughter and could no longer hold back. Did it seem that way to you too? I thought so. It was so hard to keep from bursting out laughing. Ha ha ha. Truly unfortunate. It would have been more fun if only Washa-sensei and Neji-sensei were here. Though I suppose it would be a nuisance to others. Belying his words, the old philosopher spoke with delight. "I hear you were their pupil. What were they like?" "Oh, they toyed with us constantly. You knew it was trouble when they tacked a chan on to your name. And they knew very well they were doing it. When they called you that, you ran out of there, fast. They were toying with you from there?" "Oh," they went on the chase with delight. "You didn't know what they were going to do to you when they caught you, so we would do whatever we could to escape. But Washa-sensei and Neji-sensei knew all our tricks. The record was 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 12 seconds. We usually got caught within the hour." Sounds like we'd get along. Sito laughed with mixed feelings, knowing she had done similar things to Azusa and Yosho. Haha, I agree. Oh, can you guess how the record was made? Whether they were highly skilled or... They do often say, it's hardest to see what's under your own nose. Sito offered a likely answer from her own past experiences. Exactly. He had received the summons in his room and simply passed out from fear and anxiety. Their laughter echoed in the room, but the old philosopher gradually grew glum and mumbled, Neji-sensei passed away and Washa-sensei is missing. Since they've been gone, the Galaxy Academy has grown bigger with more people, but it's also lonelier. Sito, looking at him, grew sad and mumbled more to herself than others. The fun never lasts forever.